Did you know that over 40% of men over 60 report feeling a persistent drop in energy, stamina, or sexual performance, even if their blood work looks normal? And here's the surprising part. Many of these men are told it's just part of aging, or worse, they're pushed toward medications without understanding the foundational role of nutrition in hormonal balance, metabolic health, and sexual vitality. But what if something as simple as a handful of the right nuts? Yes, whole food, naturally packed nuts could nudge your testosterone levels, improve endothelial function, and recharge your energy reserves in a clinically meaningful way. Today, we're going to break down what I call nature's hormonal boosters, 3 powerful nuts that men over 60 should consider adding to their daily routine to support energy, libido, and longevity. Now, I know this might sound too simple. How could food, let alone something as small as a nut, possibly impact performance or vitality? Here's the truth. These aren't just snacks. They're bioactive nutrient powerhouses loaded with zinc, L-arginine, selenium, polyphenols, and healthy fats. And the research from institutions like Harvard, the Mayo Clinic, and the NIH supports their role in improving testosterone function, blood flow, and even sperm quality. But this conversation isn't just about testosterone. It's about the bigger picture of male aging, how nutrition interacts with stress, inflammation, blood flow, and hormone signaling, and how we can make small, consistent shifts that support a better quality of life. This is a topic that's often overlooked, especially for men over 60 who are dealing with the double burden of misinformation and silence. You deserve more than vague advice. You deserve clarity, not fear. So in this video, I'll walk you through the 3 specific nuts that clinical research suggests can support male vitality, how each one works, from endothelial repair to testosterone modulation, and most importantly, how to incorporate them into your life without overdoing it. Because when you know how your body works, you can work with it, not against it. Let's start by mapping out the 6 key insights we'll explore, each rooted in science and each offering a real path forward. Let's break this down like I would with a patient. Your body is not a machine that just needs fuel. It's a living system that depends on complex biochemical conversations happening every second. And those conversations are fueled not just by nutrients, but by how those nutrients interact with each other in real food. This is why whole foods, especially something as nutrient dense as nuts, have a very different effect on the body than isolated supplements. Take magnesium, for example. It's essential for testosterone production, nerve function, and even sleep quality. You could take a magnesium pill, yes, but when you eat a food like almonds or cashews, you're not just getting magnesium. You're also getting fat-soluble vitamins, plant sterols, fiber, and other trace minerals that help your body absorb and utilize that magnesium more efficiently. This is called nutrient synergy, and it's one of the reasons researchers at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health have repeatedly emphasized whole food sources over synthetic ones for long-term hormonal and cardiovascular health. And nuts? They are a prime example of synergy in action. Let's look at one important mechanism, oxidative stress. As men age, oxidative stress increases, which can damage DNA, impair testosterone-producing Leydig cells, and affect the blood vessels that supply the penis. Now, a supplement might give you one antioxidant, say vitamin E, but nuts, like walnuts or pistachios, deliver vitamin E plus selenium, plus polyphenols, plus unsaturated fatty acids. That combination reduces systemic inflammation and protects vascular health, which matters not just for your heart, but also for erectile performance. This isn't theory. It's supported by large cohort studies published in journals like Nutrients and the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, which have shown that people who regularly consume nuts have lower markers of inflammation, better lipid profiles, and even improved sperm parameters. So if you've ever wondered, should I just take a testosterone booster from the store? Here's what the research shows. Most over-the-counter testosterone supplements are poorly regulated, minimally effective, and sometimes even harmful. But when you eat whole foods with the right nutrient density, like the 3 nuts we're discussing today, you're giving your body the tools it needs to regulate hormones naturally. And there's one more factor, bioavailability. Nutrients in food are often better absorbed, better tolerated, and less likely to create imbalances. Your body knows what to do with a walnut. A synthetic capsule, that's a gamble. So here's a simple tip I give my patients. Don't think of nuts as snacks. Think of them as precision nutrition tools, small, powerful, and easy to integrate. A handful a day, especially of the right kinds, can gently support hormonal balance over time. If this is helping clarify things, give it a thumbs up and keep learning. Think of your hormonal system like a symphony. Your brain is the conductor sending hormonal signals down to the testes, which then produce testosterone, sperm, and other important androgens. When inflammation, oxidative stress, or poor nutrition interferes with this communication, the whole performance suffers. And that's where walnuts come in. Walnuts are uniquely rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that's been shown to reduce systemic inflammation, improve lipid metabolism, and support vascular integrity. Why does that matter for testosterone and energy? Because chronic inflammation and poor circulation are silent saboteurs of male hormonal health. A study published in Biology of Reproduction found that men who supplemented their diets with 75 grams of walnuts daily for 12 weeks showed improvements in sperm vitality, motility, and morphology. Now, even if you're not trying to conceive, those improvements signal something deeper, better function of the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, the hormonal highway that governs testosterone production. So here's what the research shows. Walnuts contain plant sterols, which may help regulate cholesterol metabolism, the very building block of testosterone. Their antioxidant profile, especially ellagic acid and polyphenols, helps reduce DNA damage and oxidative stress in reproductive tissues. They support endothelial function, meaning the blood vessels that carry oxygen and nutrients to organs, including the penis, are better able to relax and perform. And the shape, it's not just symbolic. The brain-shaped structure of walnuts is a visual reminder of how intimately connected the brain is to testosterone regulation. When your brain is supported with omega-3s and antioxidants, the hormonal messaging system runs more smoothly. In a 2018 study from Andrology, researchers noted that diets rich in unsaturated fats, like those from walnuts and olive oil, were positively correlated with higher free testosterone and better erectile scores. This wasn't a supplement trial. It was based on real food, eaten in balance over time. So here's the practical takeaway. Start with 7 to 10 walnut halves a day. That's enough to deliver the omega-3 and antioxidant benefit without overloading on calories. Walnuts pair well with oats, yogurt, or eaten whole as a midday energy boost. Think of it like this. Every day you add these to your diet, you're quietly feeding the systems that drive energy, desire, and performance. From your brain to your blood vessels to your testes. One small habit, big potential gains. Comment below if this resonates. Let's open this conversation. Let's talk about a trace mineral that rarely gets the spotlight but can have a profound impact on testosterone, sperm health, and prostate function. Selenium. Now, selenium is needed only in tiny amounts, micrograms, not milligrams, but its role is outsized. Think of it like a spark plug in a high-performance engine. Without it, hormonal production slows, oxidative stress builds, and key functions like testosterone synthesis and sperm motility begin to falter. And here's where it gets fascinating. The single richest natural source of selenium is the Brazil nut. Just one Brazil nut can contain anywhere from 68 to 91 micrograms of selenium, often enough to meet or even exceed your entire daily requirement depending on your region and soil quality. In a 2013 randomized, placebo-controlled study published in the Journal of Andrology, selenium supplementation was shown to improve sperm motility and morphology in infertile men, especially when combined with vitamin E. And separate studies have suggested that selenium plays a protective role against prostate cancer, particularly when levels are maintained within an optimal physiological range. But here's where precision matters. Selenium follows a U-shaped curve in the body. Too little is problematic, but too much can actually be toxic, potentially impairing thyroid function or causing other side effects. That's why Brazil nuts are such an elegant solution. Nature delivers selenium in a bioavailable, self-limiting form. You're unlikely to overdose if you're sticking to 1 or 2 Brazil nuts per day, and that's all most men need. More than that regularly could lead to selenium overload. In fact, the NIH sets the upper tolerable intake at 400 micrograms per day, and some Brazil nuts can have up to 90 micrograms each, depending on origin. So why does selenium matter for men over 60? It supports the enzyme glutathione peroxidase, a major antioxidant defense system that protects the testes and other tissues from damage. It enhances Leydig cell function, which is crucial for testosterone production. It may help lower inflammation in the prostate, contributing to overall urological health. In practical terms, if you're feeling sluggish, low in drive, or noticing changes in erectile quality, and your diet is low in seafood or selenium-rich plants, you could be operating at a deficiency. Here's what I tell my patients. Treat Brazil nuts like medicine, not munchies. 1 per day, eaten mindfully, perhaps with breakfast, can gently boost your selenium status over time. If you're taking a multivitamin or eating a high selenium diet already, talk with your doctor before adding more. But for many men, especially those with bland or westernized diets, a single Brazil nut may be the most therapeutic food you're not eating. And this kind of nutrition science is helpful. Subscribe. I make content that's practical, grounded, and designed for men who want better answers. If there were ever a nut that deserved a standing ovation in the world of men's health, it might just be the pistachio. Why? Because unlike most foods, pistachios have been studied in a randomized clinical trial specifically focused on erectile function, and the results are both compelling and practical. Let's break it down like I would with a patient. In 2011, a study published in the International Journal of Impotence Research followed 17 men with erectile dysfunction. For 3 weeks, these men consumed 100 grams of pistachios daily, roughly 3.5 ounces, while keeping the rest of their diet and lifestyle unchanged. The outcome? By the end of the study, participants experienced significant improvement in erectile function measured by the International Index of Erectile Function, IIEF. Blood lipid profiles also improved with reductions in total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol. Now, 100 grams is a large amount, more than I typically recommend daily, but it proved a point. Pistachios are more than a snack. They are vasculature supportive, nitric oxide boosting, energy enhancing foods. But let's unpack the mechanism. Pistachios are rich in L-arginine, a semi-essential amino acid that converts into nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide is what allows blood vessels, especially the delicate arteries in the penis, to relax and dilate, promoting healthy blood flow. They also contain vitamin B6, which supports testosterone metabolism, gamma-tocopherol, a potent antioxidant form of vitamin E, plant sterols, which help balance cholesterol, indirectly benefiting hormone production. What's remarkable is how all these elements work together. Think of L-arginine like the key that unlocks the door to better circulation. Without enough of it, even if testosterone levels are optimal, blood flow and thus erection quality can suffer. And here's something else. Pistachios are one of the few nuts that also contain carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin, compounds that support eye health, yes, but also reflect the deep antioxidant profile that helps reduce endothelial inflammation. From a real-life standpoint, here's what I recommend. Stick to about 1 to 1.5 ounces of unsalted pistachios per day, roughly a small handful. That gives you the L-arginine benefit without overloading calories or sodium. You can pair them with fruit in the afternoon or have them as part of a pre-dinner snack. And a note on preparation, raw or dry roasted pistachios are best. Avoid the heavily salted or artificially flavored versions. They often undo the cardiovascular benefits. Let's separate fear from fact. If you're a man over 60 dealing with changes in sexual performance, energy, or confidence, that's common and it's treatable. You don't have to jump straight to medications. In many cases, nutrition is the missing link. These aren't miracle cures, but consistent, intelligent choices like adding pistachios to your routine can support the systems your body depends on. Let's rewind to the 1980 and 90, the height of the low-fat diet craze. We were told fat was dangerous, that cholesterol should be minimized, that low-fat yogurt, fat-free cookies, and skinless chicken breasts were the path to health. But here's what most men didn't realize. Testosterone is literally made from cholesterol. In trying to protect our hearts, many unintentionally disrupted their hormones. Let's break it down. Testosterone and all your sex hormones, including DHT, estrogen, and cortisol, are synthesized from cholesterol via a complex enzymatic process that starts in the Leydig cells of your testes. If you drastically reduce dietary fat and cholesterol, your body has less raw material to work with. Studies have confirmed this link. In a 2021 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, researchers found that low-fat diets were associated with modest but significant reductions in testosterone levels, particularly in men who were not overweight. And yet, for decades, men trying to eat healthy cut out eggs, nuts, and full-fat dairy, all in the name of cholesterol control. But not all fats are the same. There's a big difference between trans fats, which are highly inflammatory and genuinely harmful, and monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, which are essential for hormone production, brain health, and cardiovascular function. And that's where nuts come in, particularly walnuts, pistachios, almonds, and macadamia nuts. These contain monounsaturated fats that support testosterone metabolism, phytosterols that balance cholesterol naturally, fat-soluble vitamins like E and K that protect reproductive tissues. Let's think of testosterone production like baking bread. Cholesterol is your flour. Enzymes are your yeast. Hormonal balance is your finished loaf. If you're missing key ingredients or using the wrong kind of flour, the whole system fails. When patients come to me with fatigue, low libido, or mood changes, I always review their dietary fat intake. Often, they've unknowingly adopted a low-fat, high-carb pattern that starves the endocrine system of what it needs to function. Here's what the research and clinical experience suggest. Men over 60 benefit from a moderate fat diet with about 30 to 35% of calories from healthy fat. Fats from nuts, seeds, olive oil, avocados, and fatty fish are consistently associated with better hormonal health and lower inflammation. Restrictive low-fat diets, especially when combined with calorie restriction, can reduce testosterone, energy, and drive. So what's the real takeaway? Fat isn't the enemy, imbalance is. It's not about eating bacon at every meal or downing handfuls of nuts indiscriminately. It's about strategically including the right fats from foods like walnuts, Brazil nuts, and pistachios that nourish your hormones without overwhelming your system. If this helped reframe your understanding of fat and testosterone, let me know in the comments. I want to hear what myths you've been told and what's finally making sense. So now that you know what these three powerhouse nuts, walnuts, Brazil nuts can do for your energy, testosterone, and overall performance, the next question becomes, how do I actually fit them into my life without overdoing it? Let's walk through it like I would with a patient, because even something healthy can become problematic if used the wrong way, and portion control, balance, and timing are key. First, let's talk portions. Here's a simple rule of thumb. Walnuts, about 1 ounce per day, which is 7 to 10 halves. Brazil nuts, just 1 per day, 2 at most if you're not getting selenium elsewhere. Pistachios, 1 to 1.5 ounces, roughly a small handful, or about 45 to 50 kernels. It's important not to lump all nuts together. Each of these delivers different nutrients in different intensities. For example, 2 Brazil nuts could provide over 180 micrograms of selenium, which is close to half the upper safe limit. More is not better. Now let's talk timing and synergy. Nuts are best consumed with other whole foods because pairing fats with fiber or protein slows digestion, supports blood sugar balance, and improves nutrient absorption. Here are 3 practical ways to incorporate them. Morning routine booster. Add crushed walnuts to your oatmeal or Greek yogurt. This provides omega-3s, magnesium, and fiber to support stable energy and hormonal signaling throughout the day. Midday performance snack. Try a small mix of pistachios with a piece of fruit, like an apple or banana. The combination of arginine and natural carbs helps optimize nitric oxide production and blood flow without the blood sugar crash. evening mineral replenishment. Have one Brazil nut as part of your dinner or shortly afterward. This supports overnight recovery, antioxidant activity, and thyroid hormone conversion, which is closely tied to energy metabolism. And here's something most people forget. Variety matters. Don't eat the same nuts every day. Rotate. One day walnuts, the next pistachios, or a mix that prevents overexposure to any one compound like oxalates or selenium and keeps your micronutrient profile broad and balanced. Also, go for raw or dry roasted unsalted nuts. Salted or oil roasted varieties often contain inflammatory seed oils or excessive sodium, which can negate cardiovascular benefits. And remember, if you're watching your weight or have metabolic conditions like prediabetes, nuts are nutrient dense, but also calorie dense. Stick with measured servings and view them as therapeutic, not recreational. Lastly, here's a clinical tip. If you're unsure about your selenium, zinc, or testosterone levels, ask your doctor for a simple blood panel. Deficiencies are treatable, but often go unnoticed because symptoms are chalked up to just aging. Let's not accept decline as inevitable. When you nourish your body intelligently, you're not just adding nutrients, you're restoring biological function. So to recap, use walnuts for brain and hormone synergy, Brazil nuts for targeted selenium support, pistachios for circulation and erectile function. These are tools, and used wisely, they can shift how you feel and perform in ways that no pill ever could. Let's bring everything together. By now, you've learned that 3 simple foods, walnuts, Brazil nuts, and pistachios, can have a measurable impact on male vitality, especially after age 60. Not because they're trendy, exotic, or sold in flashy supplement bottles, but because they deliver the raw materials your body needs to support testosterone, circulation, and cellular energy. We've broken down the science. We've looked at the studies. We've explored how nutrient synergy, the way nature packages minerals, fats, and antioxidants, works better than isolated pills. Let's recap the key insights. Walnuts support hormonal balance and inflammation reduction with omega-3s and plant sterols. Brazil nuts replenish selenium, a trace mineral tied to testosterone, sperm health, and prostate defense. Pistachios enhance blood flow and erectile function through arginine and antioxidants. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to go on extreme diets or start risky supplements. You just need to start feeding your body the way it was designed to be nourished, with whole, functional foods that quietly restore what time, stress, and lifestyle have depleted. And remember, if you're dealing with low energy, poor performance, or changes in drive, you're not alone. It's common and it's manageable. You deserve clarity, not confusion. Science, not hype. Real strategies, not shame. So here's your one action step today. Choose one of these 3 nuts and build a small, consistent habit around it. Add a Brazil nut to your evening, toss some walnuts on your breakfast, swap a processed snack for a handful of pistachios. Tiny shifts over time can spark big changes. And if you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who cares about their health, their body, and their future. Stay curious, stay informed. And if you want more grounded, shame-free health content from someone who actually looks at this in the clinic every day, subscribe. This channel is here for you because you don't have to be afraid of your body. You just need good information. Take care of yourself. You deserve it. And I'll see you in the next one.